a little pause for everybody to settle down, and then we'll take one last question.
Thank you so much.
So,
We will cut the music. Request our friends from the press to please clear the aisle so that we can start and continue the conversation. Right? Back to you, Funny, and the moderators. Please, 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 all
okay,
yours.
thanks, Harsh. Yeah, so we'll have one final question, and then maybe take a comment from Jayashree. So Sudha, uh, so you started, um okay, let me state it the other way. So governments need technology, but technology is ever changing at a very fast pace, right? And I learned that you're helping governments in various states get these technology into the government organization. So how are you doing it, and what's the genesis of it?
So there are two important trends to take cognizance of. One is the emergence of digital public goods, right? It all started with UID and Aadhaar. But since then, we have stacks enabling access to digital technology to every last citizen in health and finance, in different parts of whether it's the open credit enablement network, taking it to shopkeepers and small traders, whether it's ONDC. The other big trend is people in their 40s feeling like they've been there, done that in the corporate world, and now want to serve state and country. So leveraging both these trends, we instituted the Indian Administrative Fellowship. It's a fellowship for CXOs. So people that have come into this fellowship are, for instance, the former CEO of Airtel Bharti's B2B business, the chief strategy officer of Patanjali, right? Large corporate CXOs who jobs and work full time with principal secretaries in state governments for 18 months. And in these 18 months, they pick something that's strategically important to the state government and move them using technology. You were speaking about using alternate data for credit access. One of the things the fellow in Karnataka has been able to do is ensure that women members of self-help groups can access loans even in the absence of a personal credit history or a credit rating. Um, the state has set up a 100 crore interest subvention fund and brought in Canara Bank as the anchor bank to disburse over 600 crores of loans to women, individuals who are members of self-help groups.
Nice.
So this is
Yeah.
modeled after your
Yeah.
journey, Funny, what you were able to do with the government of Telangana.
It's
Uh,
actually, the the Sutradhar is
the
actually here.
Sutradhar is here. Yes.
So, KTR Garu, just now, Sudha was just saying that they launched this Indian Administrative Fellowship Program, which they've taken to different governments, different states, where they take people like me into the government. So, yeah, so Sudha is saying it's modeled after me. I'm saying actually the Sutradhar is sitting there.
Right.
Yeah, he's the one who invited me to the government, and that one small thing is now like replicated. And how many states have you sent fellows to,
Yeah.
Sudha?
So when elected representatives and visionary bureaucrats start to draw from talent in the private sector, magic happens, right? So that's the answer.
So how many
Uh,
states are your fellows in?
so we finished one cohort in Karnataka. So the next cohort will start in April. And we've just kicked off in Punjab. So 2 states. We'll announce the third state soon, and we hope to come to Telangana with your support, sir, in the very near future.
Nice. Thank you, panelists. We'll take one final comment from Jayashree on how you're using technology at the foundation to increase impact. Yeah.
Technology plays a vital role in all sectors. We use it in all the programs at the foundation. To give an example, we have a skilling program to skill the youth to employability, and we use technology to track, to collect data, track. And, data is everything. Then we can plan ahead. We also use technology in the agriculture to where we have a high goal of constructing 100,000 ponds. So we use it to ideally locate the pond for logistics and to monitor after the pond have been dug to monitor the crops.
Thank you. Thank you, Jayashree. And thank you a lot. Thank you, panelists. Thank you very much.
Right, so please put your hands together for the amazing discussion. I love the fact that it was so logical. There were facts, very clear facts that were presented. And on behalf of the audience present in Nizamabad, big thank you to the panelists and the moderator. I request our moderator to felicitate our panel members. Right? Thank you. It's brilliant to start the day with absolute rock stars on the stage, right? People who are there everywhere. And thank you so much for being yourself and continuing your journey for us more than anyone else. Please put your hands together. Thank you so much. So our panelists who came down from Bombay to participate in this conversation, thank you so much. And we always have a soft corner for people who create an impact in the social space. Thank you, Sudha, for being yourself. And thank you, Funny, for conducting this with such ease. Now that we hear, it's also time to hear from the CEO of Kakatiya Sandbox. I request Manish to please come up on stage. And the only note that I've heard about him is nobody has seen him sleep or eat in the last 3 days because he's been slogging that hard. So Manish, we would love to hear from you, your address for Development Dialogue 2023 Nizamabad.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you to Development Dialogue 2023. We are doing Development Dialogue after a gap of 4 years. It was because of COVID and the disruptions that it brought. But then thanks to technology, we have been able to put COVID behind us. Technology that came to our rescue in form of vaccine, in form of the tremendous amount of logistical support that was needed to deliver those vaccine, in form of testing kit, in form of contact tracing and so on and so forth. So one thing that COVID has done before going out of our way is that it made sure that we understand the importance of technology. But then that's not it. We need to ensure that technology is used for social good, for social impact. And then it is my unique pleasure that there could not have been a better face to represent technology in Telangana and India than Sri KTR Garu, Honorable IT Minister and Industries Minister. So I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, to this gathering. I would also like to welcome Prashant Reddy Garu, Honorable Minister, all the beloved MLAs of Nizamabad, and all Collector Garu, CP Garu, and all the other political dignitaries present here. Now there are people who have used technology to build large companies. And they have learned so much in that process of building those large companies. And after they have done that inning on entrepreneurship, they have come to use that technology at scale and for impact to do social good. And I'm very happy to see 4 of them here. So I would like to welcome Desh, Jayashree, Rajugaru, and Funny here to this gathering of Development Dialogue 2023. Development Dialogue, in a way, it's a very unique gathering. There is not a gathering where in the same mix of crowd, you will find farmers, you will find women micro-entrepreneurs, you will find corporates, you will find startups, you will find faculties, you will find government, you will find all sort of representatives from all stakeholders. Now, so I would want you to at least ensure that you talk to one of these and get one story out for yourself. So if you meet one farmer, get one story, one woman micro-entrepreneurs, get one story, meet one startup, meet one corporate, or somebody who wants to do social good, then I think the true purpose of development dialogue will be successful. Now, this is not a gathering that we are just randomly put together. This is a very unique community that Kakatiya Sandbox has built over the last 9 years. We have built it brick by brick. And that's the gathering here. I fondly remember a story from a program that we do. It's called Skill in Village, where we used to run this program for 2-3 years. And after 2-3 years of running this program, the Sarpanch came to us saying that I would like to write a check for 25,000 rupees and then be part of this program to make it sustainable, to make it viable. Now that's the community that has gathered here. The community that truly wants to be part of economic transformation of North Telangana. Overall, over the 9 years, Kakatiya Sandbox has been able to generate $50 million of economic impact for 100,000 families. We work with 100,000 farmers, 5,000 micro-entrepreneurs, more than 2,000 skilling students, and numerous startups. And all of that has done right here from Nizamabad for the social impact of North Telangana. Sometimes people ask me, what am I doing here? While all of this is happening, how are you the center of it? You have the profile to be in some tech center around the world. You graduated from NIT Trichy. You are in corporate sector. You're working with different governments. Why are you here in Nizamabad? To them, I humbly say that if the pursuit of purpose and happiness can take people to the higher Himalayas, this is my purpose. And I'm just happy to be here. Well, thank you. Nowhere you will find an opportunity to work with a farmer who's so smart and always thinks from the first principle to people who are the philosophers of the world and the best thinkers of the world. That opportunity is rare to come by. So if any one of you among the crowd is thinking of taking that hard plunge to make this social impact, I'm happy to share my experience, talk on the side, and I will tell you just one phrase. It's all worth it if you take that plunge and actually do that work. Then at last, I personally believe that's all about people. People is what create impact. People is what bring the change. So today, I would say, let the shoulders rub and inspiration fly. To all of you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our very own rock star. Okay, now the next person I'm going to be introducing honestly requires no introduction, but as part of the job, I'll quickly read up something. Mr. Raju Reddy is the co-founder of Kakatiya Sandbox. It's absolutely phenomenal to have you here today. He was the former CEO of Sierra Atlantic, a company that grew to be the best-in-class global service company over a period of 17 years before being acquired by Hitachi. All the fancy designations, but the designation that he absolutely loves is when he is called the chief volunteer for Kakatiya Sandbox. So, please put your hands together for Mr. Raju Reddy.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Very warm welcome to you all to my hometown, our beautiful city of Nizamabad. Uh, Nizamabad, often we describe it as a microcosm of India. Truly a diverse group of, cultures, languages, religions, and, I see that in today's audience, we have people, by the way, that have come from all over India, several chief executives, and people from US and other parts of the world. In fact, I saw a group of students that are here on a study abroad program. And one of them met last evening. She came from Ukraine. So, if Nizamabad is a microcosm of India, the audience here in some ways is a microcosm of the world. So thank you. Thank you all for joining us in Nizamabad. And a special welcome to our chief guest, a dear friend, our Honorable Minister KTR Garu, who is more popularly known as KTR. And thank you, Minister Prashant Reddy Garu, and all the elected officials who are here today, and the district officers. And, Desh and Jayashree, thank you for being the inspiration to both Funny and I in starting Kakatiya Sandbox about 9 years ago. So I just wanted to share a little bit about, Kakatiya Sandbox, and then just to add to Manisha's comments, and then I have the privilege of introducing the chief guest, KTR, today. So at a core, everything in a sandbox is about creating better economic opportunities in rural India. And we started this journey a little over 9 years. And there are kind of three main tenets of a sandbox ecosystem. One, it's the bottom-up form of economic development, meaning unless the local people are an active part of the solution, these changes are not sustainable. Hopefully yesterday you had a feel for that, the quality of the local talent that is building Thai Nizamabad. By the way, how many of you knew that there was a Thai chapter in Nizamabad before? It's the smallest city in the world with a Thai chapter anywhere, and one of the most vibrant Thai chapter cities. Absolutely. So I think that's an example of bottom-up form of socio-economic development. Second is bringing an entrepreneurial mindset to address social challenges. As Desh, the founder, often likes to say, if you can combine the compassion of the non-profit world with the execution excellence of the for-profit world, that's when you get outstanding results. And third is scale. A country of 1 billion people, unless you touch a large enough population, you can't make a meaningful difference over time. So we started with roughly about 10 million population, the undivided districts of Nizamabad, Karimnagar and Medak initially. But today I would say our impact region is roughly about 1% of India, because we also operate in Nalgonda and Adilabad, most of North Telangana today. And we touch about 2 lakh people, out of which 5 lakh, 20 lakhs, 2 million people, 20 lakhs, out of which 5 lakhs is a life-altering impact, where the income has gone up by 50% to sometimes 2 to 3x. Now that is still a long way off from where we strive to be, but it's a very encouraging progress, and at the end of it, it's all about building role models at the micro level, people that they can relate to, like Manish talked about the farmers or others. And so we need many partners for this to succeed. And one of the most important partners in all of this is the government, of course. And I must tell you, right from the day one, we've had tremendous support. We have a very enlightened government, fortunately for us, in the state of Telangana. And a big shout out to Garu and the rest of the team, and of course our Chief Minister KCR Garu, and so now many of you know about KTR Garu with all the businesses that have come to, global businesses that have come to Hyderabad and Telangana in recent years, and I think there was a lot that came out of Davos conference itself. My understanding is there is several billions of dollars, maybe tens of billions, that have come to Telangana or will be coming as a result of that. So I don't have to tell you a lot of that which is in public domain, but I thought I'll share a little anecdote. I talked about this, I never talked about it here in India, but I did talk about it once in California. So some of you may have heard it before, so bear with me. It's a personal story, I think, that gives you a glimpse into, KTR. And this was about 6 years ago. I was meeting KTR Garu in the secretariat, and at the end of that meeting, he invited me to join him for a dinner at Falaknama Palace, where there was a visiting delegation from Boeing. And and he was kind enough, and I said, sure, I mean, that sounds interesting. So Boeing was evaluating different cities for setting up their new manufacturing plant. And my understanding is not just cities across India, but in other parts of Asia. And I was seated next to a gentleman, a Caucasian, who was visiting India for the first time. And we talked about, each other, and he knew that I live in California. I was here on a visit. And KTR, as he normally does, did a fantastic job building a very compelling argument for why Boeing should choose Hyderabad over other cities, and other cities not just in India but outside too. And at the end of it, this gentleman turns to me and says, Raju, we need a leader like this back in our country, in America. Just, I mean, just think about it. And being a native of Telangana, my heart swelled with pride. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's just a peek into, KTR Garu from a personal anecdote that I have. He's a kind of leader that not only any part of India would love to have, but any democracy in the world would love to have. So please join me in a warm welcome to our chief guest, KTR Garu. Thank you. Thank you.
Should we just...
Yeah. మీరు ఒక 10 నిమిషాలు మాట్లాడిన తర్వాత దేశ్ వస్తుంది. He'll come up and then he'll moderate.
Thank you. Andarki namaskaram. A very good morning to all of you. Firstly, I'd like to thank Raju Reddy and the team of Kakatiya Sandbox for inviting us over to Nizamabad. It's always a pleasure, always, a memorable experience meeting with Raju, Desh, and the entire team, that inspired this wonderful facility being created here in Nizamabad, the Kakatiya Sandbox. Also wanted to ensure, to all the distinguished delegates and others who have come from various parts of the world and also various parts of India, welcome to Telangana, welcome to Nizamabad. Our Honorable Minister for Roads and Buildings, Shri Prashant Reddy, the District President of Nizamabad, Shri Jeevan Reddy, Honorable Chairman for RTC and MLA Nizamabad Rural, Shri Bajireddy Govardhan Garu, Honorable MLA Nizamabad Urban, Shri Ganesh Gupta Garu, Honorable MLA Bodhan, Shri Shakil Garu, Honorable Member of Raj Sabha, former Speaker, Shri KR Suresh Reddy Garu, Honorable MLC D. Rajeshwar Rao Garu, Honorable MLC Gangadhar Gaud Garu, Honorable ZP Chairman Vittal Rao Garu, Honorable MLA from Kodad, Shri Mallaya Yadav Garu, Honorable former MLC Shri Narsi Reddy Garu, Honorable DCCB Chairman Shri Bhaskar Reddy Garu, to all the distinguished, members who are also present in the audience, to the district administrators, officials, to my friends from media, a warm welcome to all of you. I love the theme of this event, development dialogue. I think a country like India, which has the largest population on the planet now, we just surpassed China. For those of you who are not aware, we just, I think, surpassed China last week or 10 days ago. We have the largest population on the planet now. We're the country with the largest population on the planet. Most importantly, this population, if you look at it, 50% of India is less than the age of 27. 65% of India is less than the age of 35. And in a knowledge economy, I think this is the biggest a nation can bring to the table. the kind of young think force, not young workforce, but the kind of young think force India possesses today is the biggest strength, in fact, it can leverage is to come. The reason why I said I love the theme of this conference being development dialogue is because I'll narrate a quick story to you. Back in 1987, both India and China, similar sized countries in terms of population, also had a similar sized economy. We had almost the same GDP back in 1987. But if you actually move forward to 36 years later, today, China is the second largest economy in the world with $16 trillion of GDP size, whereas India is still languishing at $3 trillion with the dreams of a 5 trillion economy. What went wrong? Or what did China do right that India did not get right? In my humble opinion, I think China focused on ensuring that development becomes the principal conversation across the country, across the nation. Unfortunately, in India, I think very often politics takes center stage and economics, unfortunately, takes a back seat. Now, the reason why I said I love the theme of the conference here is because the conversation which always centers around development, especially for a third world country like India, for an emerging economy like India, will only ensure that the policy makers, the lawmakers, the legislators, the elected representatives, their focus should remain on the right things. For instance, in Telangana, under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri KTR Garu, we have focused on getting our basics right. Back in 2014, right about the time when Kakatiya Sandbox was formed, the state of Telangana also came into being on the 2nd of June 2014. When we started this journey in a new state, there were a lot of apprehensions, there were lots of doubts. In fact, we started our journey as a power deficit. State of Telangana, in fact, when Manish was, Funny was talking, also when Raju was talking, they all mentioned farmers and the rural livelihoods, etc. In Telangana, for those of you who are not familiar with this state, we had, to the formation of the state, we had 25 lakh plus, 2.5 million plus tube wells that have been sunk in by the farming community here. Billions and billions of dollars over a period of last few decades. They have sunk in many, many bore wells into the arid, dry region of Telangana. While there is enough water in our rivers, Godavari and Krishna, it has not been leveraged. While there are enough minor irrigation tanks, almost 46,000 lakes and tanks, they have not been leveraged. Irrigation was primarily rain-fed and it was dependent on tube wells and bore wells. Now this is something that was the challenge when we started our journey as a new state. Because we started our journey as a power deficit state. When our Honorable Chief Minister assumed office on the 2nd of June 2014, he made it his primary task and primary challenge to address this power deficit situation. In a matter of 6 months, just 6 months, from the day he assumed office, he made sure that the power deficit situation has changed, and today I can proudly say that Telangana is a power surplus state which can actually supply electricity 24/7 to the farming community free of cost in India. And we are the only state in India which provides free power 24/7 to the farmers. We also produce and supply quality power to both domestic and also industry sector in our state. The reason why I'm mentioning this today is because in the last 8.5 years, numbers will tell you a story. The development dialogue that we're talking about today is already a work in progress in Telangana. When we started our journey, the per capita income of Telangana was 1,24,000 rupees. 124,000 rupees. As of March last year, March 2022, the per capita of Telangana has risen, has increased to 278,000 rupees, 2,78,000 rupees. Almost 130% increase. The gross state domestic product, the GSDP of Telangana was about 500,000, 5 lakh crores on 2014 June 2nd. But as of last year, the GSDP of Telangana also has increased to 11.55 lakh crore, which is almost 1.15 million, 1.15 millions. The kind of increase in wealth, the kind of increase in per capita income that has happened in Telangana, just to give you one little statistic that will put things in perspective. Telangana is only 2.5% of India in terms of population. We are only 40 million people. But our contribution to India's economy, India's GDP, is 5%. We are 2.5% in terms of population, but our contribution is 5%, which means we are literally punching double our weight. We are a 50-kilo boxer fighting in 100-kilo categories, how I would like it to. And I would also like to add one more thing. Raju called Nizamabad a microcosm of India. And by extension, you called this room a microcosm of the world. I would only say one thing. Telangana is that state where the north of India meets the south of India. Telangana is that state where paratha meets dosa. Telangana is that state where biology meets technology. Telangana is that state where life sciences meets data sciences. Telangana is that state where mangoverse meets metaverse. And Telangana also is that state which is focused extensively on holistic integrated development. What do I mean by that? Our IT exports back in 2014 were 57,000 crores. As of last year, they have risen to 1,83,000 crores. Our agriculture activity has expanded by almost 6% in terms of our GSDP valuation. It has increased by 119% overall. For those of you who have a phone in your hand, let me indulge you for a second. Please pull out your phone for a second. Please pull out your phone. And please Google it for me. World's largest lift irrigation project. Let me repeat. World's largest lift irrigation project. Can somebody tell me the answer? Those who are trigger happy and quick fingers. I'd like to hear from the backbenchers here. What is it? Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project. The reason why I mentioned it, very often we talk about Chinese execution. Very often we talk about how 3 dam was built by the Chinese in a record span of time. Let me tell you, youngest state in India, under the leadership of our dynamic Chief Minister, Shri KTR Garu, has built the world's largest lift irrigation project in a span of 4 years. Indian engineers, the engineers of Telangana, have made us proud. We have built this project which irrigates 45 lakh acres of land, which has also rejuvenated the Sri Ram Sagar project right here in the Nizamabad, in the neck of the woods in Nizamabad. And most importantly, it also caters to industrial consumption, and it also supplies drinking water to the metro city of Hyderabad, which contributes significant portion of our GSDP. I'm not sure how many of you know this. Not only is Telangana home to the world's largest lift irrigation project, India recently completed 75 years of independence. We are the first state in India to have completed a mammoth, a Herculean task of providing a portable drinking water connection to each and every one of our